Greetings. Welcome to Riverside Center for Innovation Boost Your Business webinar series. My name is James Myers Jr., Director of Community and Business Development. During these interesting times, one of our goals at RCI is to help you transform into a digital citizen. We want you to be aware of the business tools with technology that are available and know how to use them. To gain access to our webinar series, please register and become a member of our Diversity Business Resource Center at dbrcpittsburgh.org. And you can find our website at riversidecenterforinnovation.com. Good afternoon. Welcome to Riverside Center for Innovation Boost Your Business webinar series. My name is James Myers Jr., Director of Community and Business Development at RCI. Today you will be hearing from my colleague Shamira Williams. They'll be talking about some tips and tools of the trade in terms of e-commerce and launching your business online. We want you to remember to please sign up for our Diversity Business Resource Center at dbrcpittsburgh.org. That way we can kind of keep in contact with you, as well as you be able to see the webinars that we have posted on our website, and you also to have access to them. Also, feel free to visit our website at riversidecenterforinnovation.com. And now you'll hear from Shamira Williams, who has been our thought leader in terms of transforming people into digital citizens. And she's going to roll out our presentation for this afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. It's a little nippy here in Pittsburgh, but hey, put on a jacket, put on a fleece, enjoy your home. We're going to rock through this first hour, and a little bit about me. I am Shamira Williams. I am the owner of Productivity LLC. I am also the co-founder of CC Busy, where we use voice to help childcare providers log their daily interactions. I am a former designer on the Whoosh Interactive Table, which is a public art project located at the Carnegie Library of the Homewood branch. So today we will talk about what do you need to do before you even launch online sales or e-commerce. This will be a session about the plan that you should come up with and the research that you need to do before you even decide on what platform you're going to be on and how you're going to implement this for your organization or business. So we'll do a tech check. We'll talk about customer insights. We'll talk about costs, inventory systems, payment options, and customer engagement. Let's get started. I want to do a quick little interlude or icebreaker. So I have created a collaborative playlist on Spotify. Feel free to drop your favorite song in the chat, or join the collaborative playlist and add your song there. Feel free to drop your favorite song in the chat. Okay. So let's see what songs people have. Does Spotify work with YouTube? No, but if you drop the link in there, I definitely will add it to the playlist. And you can actually access this playlist on our Padlet, which has all the resources from this workshop. My favorite song right now that's giving me life is probably 2020 Pyrex Vision by Young Jeezy. Just happens to be a motivating song right now. Gets me focused and helps me stay focused on what's in the future. So let's talk about a tech check. Before you get started, let's talk about what tech do you already have that you can use to implement online services, right? Do you have a desktop at your facility? Do you have a laptop, a tablet, a QR code, QR code readers, mobile, smartwatches, cash registers, card readers, or an NFC payment reader? Feel free to take the poll questions. We'll give you a minute for that. We would love to know what you have. So when it's time for you to contact Riverside and say, hey, I'm ready to start an online sales, then they know what you have, you know what you have. Everyone can help you in the best of their abilities to make sure that you have a seamless process. We'll give you a couple of more seconds, maybe like 30 more seconds to finish this poll before we move on. All right. So the first thing that you want to do when you are thinking about which platform to pick, read your terms of service, review the terms of service, and you're thinking, but the terms of service are so cumbersome and I really don't understand. But I want to let you know that as a small business owner, you're on the hook for data breaches too. So just to be aware of what is going on and what kind of responsibilities you will have, I want to truly encourage you to read your terms of service before you get started. So that's my hot tip policy link on that. Do a security check. Whatever you have currently as your website, please take a moment, do a security check. Do you need an SSL certificate? An SSL certificate lets you see what, helps you make your website more secure. So it'll go from an HTTP to an HTTPS, which is more secure. In fact, you should not be running an online commerce store without an SSL certification. In addition, I want to encourage you to enable two-factor verification on all of your accounts. It will help you make sure that who is supposed to have access does have access. Let's talk about your customers. Before you decide on what e-commerce platform to use, think about how your customers are experiencing your shopping right now. So, are customers ordering face-to-face, meaning they walk into your facility in your new business hours? Or are you doing store pickup or curbside pickup? Do you have a mobile food truck? Or are people paying online or visiting your website and placing their orders and you deliver them? Are people doing downloads from you? So they just visit your website and can download a document, or they're part of your membership service, so they needed to pay to be a member in order to be a part of this. Or people sending you money through a messenger service or email or Cash App? Or do you actually take credit cards on site? Meaning you have a chip card reader, or people are using magnetic swipers, or people are using cashless payment options such as Apple Pay and Google Pay. Whatever you do, before you start your online store, make sure you take the time to create a cookie policy and a privacy policy. A cookie policy lets your users know about how you are collecting their information and what you are doing with the information that you collect. In the US, we have only one state that has a new compliance for collecting people's data, and that is California. I will tell you that it is good practice to put a cookie policy in place as well as a privacy policy. I have added where you can get assistance for those two documents on the Padlet. I'm going to do a little pause to see if we have any questions in the Q&A that people have that I should stop and answer.
No, we didn't have any questions, Shamir. We just had one participant just asking, could we actually hear their music? But we did answer them back to let them know that everybody is on mute during the presentation.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure that I kept abreast of what was going on with the people. So while I said a cookie policy is a great best practice to have, I want you to know that a privacy policy is actually required. Please make sure that you put a privacy policy in place if you are collecting personal data from users, regardless of the platform you use, whether it is mobile apps, a website, a desktop app. It's a requirement. So I really want to make sure that you spend the time to create those policies. If you have legal advice, use it. This is the time to use it. If you don't, make sure that you have somebody at a small business development center review it with you. All right. That being said, create a journey map, a customer journey story, so that you know what your customer's experience should be like from the moment they step into your store or log on to your store to the moment that they walk out with their product and they're ready to tell their friends about the amazing experience they had. What type of information will you need to collect from them? What type of information do you want to collect from them? How much variation will you need in your ordering process? So if you're setting up a Square store in the future, how many different variations do you need? Do you need a large? Do you need a small? Do you need it in purple? Do you need it in matte? Do you need it in gloss? You want to make sure that you provide enough flexibility for customers to be able to get the most accurate order to you. Let's talk about cost. You don't want to build a store that you can't afford, okay? Just like you don't want to move into a place that the rent is so much that you can't afford it for just your break-even cost. So I want to make sure that before you build a store and before you build online tools in order to take payments, that you can actually consider the cost and be able to afford them and maintain them over the long haul. So what type of technology tools do you have in place or services do you have in place, and what do you need to buy? Hey, maybe you don't need a full cash register. Maybe you already have an iPad and you are going to get PayPal or Square or something like, or Stripe, and they are going to send you a magnetic reader. So you don't need to buy a cash register. Maybe you decide you don't want to do a cash register or a magnetic reader. Maybe you just want to do the contactless payment reader. Hey, Square offers that too. Hat tip, that chip card reader with contactless payment works up to about 6 feet away from the actual device you need. So if you need to do drive-through, great thing to get. Has a cost to it. One-time cost, but definitely has a cost to it. QR codes, pretty simple to do yourself. There are subscription-based QR code providers, and they usually offer more security for your QR codes. So it might be a great way to go about implementing QR codes for your business. If you are concerned about having a tablet in your store, or you don't already have a tablet and you want a second tablet, I've seen multiple people buy separate tablets or separate devices just to use for their cash register or their POS system for when they're out and about doing transactions. Some people are really into that right now because they do not want to share their devices with other people. So if you're going to be doing pop-up stores or pop-up markets, or you can do deliveries, you may, if you have the time, the extra bandwidth, get an additional device so that your device is not, your personal device is not the same device that everyone is coming in contact with, right? Keeping your actual products clean and helping to reduce the transmission between you and your customers. This is like my pet peeve, is making sure that people get a user account for each person that needs an account for their company. If you have more than one employee, I highly recommend paying the additional fee for an additional account. Why? It lets you know who did what work. And we are talking about finances here. So it's a great time to have a track record about who logged into the account, who made the changes, who's doing what work, and when those changes happened. If 2 different employees are using the same email and password to log in, to put in inventory, if there's a problem, you don't know who was the person who triggered the problem. If somebody needs a refund, you don't know who issued the refund. So if there's more than one person who is going to manage accounts for you, please get each person their own user account. So let's talk about the costs you really need to consider. And add tech to your budget. There should be tech line items in your budget if you're going to establish an e-commerce store or take online payments. 1, what's the startup cost? Do you need to purchase equipment? How much is it going to cost you? That's typically startup. Are there monthly costs for the subscriptions that are required? Right? We're on Zoom. Yes, there's free Zoom, but this is a Zoom Pro account at least. So there's a fee for that. And it's a fee per person per month, right? Then let's talk about transaction fees. If people check out and you are using online payments, there's traditionally a transaction fee attached to it. Are you including those fees in your product costs, or are you passing them along to pass them along to your customers, or are you eating those costs yourselves? Shipping. We'll talk a little bit more about shipping, but your shipping costs, make sure you get that down packed. Try to get your shipping to the best of your ability, and know who is responsible for shipping. Are you going to pay for the shipping, meaning you've built it into your cost, so you kind of say free shipping, but you already know that you've built it in? Or will the customer be responsible? Or will you offer certain discounts? So make sure you've thought about those costs before you start implementing. I know this is going to be huge. This is always huge. Every person who has an accountant is always like, hey, did you keep track of those orders and you keep track of your costs? But I know with PPP and any of the new loans that came out, you are definitely going to need to have good record keeping in this time and process. So make sure that you put an inventory system together that is seamless and automated and helps you keep track of keep records, and lets you keep real-time records, right? So you can find out what's your inventory, how many tickets are available, what participants have registered. Also, as you decide on which e-commerce platform to select, make sure that you are thinking about things that are integrated with your payment system as well as your marketing platform. You don't want to have to go and cobblestone this all together. The goal is for you to have a seamless experience. Right now, based on all the things that I've been playing with, I've played with Square lately, I've played with Shopify, I've played with just Hobble It Along and put it together over the last couple of months. Square, of course, seems to be the most seamless, right? You have payment options in there, you have multiple inventory options, and it also lets you have seamless marketing, all the way down to MailChimp at this point. The thing that people often forget when setting up their inventory, did you collect your taxes? Because the government wants their money, and you are responsible for making sure that taxes get collected when you sell products, okay? It's a lot. It's a lot of information to think about, but consumers only pay sales tax on taxable items that are bought at retail, right? You have to think about that still the same way with your online store. And you need to make sure that you put it in the system in order to properly collect your taxes so that you can pay your taxes. The government will want their money. They always want their money. So make sure you do your due diligence. On the Padlet, there's a great e-commerce resource for you to talk about the research and what are the tax rates per state, as well as Pennsylvania's tax guidelines are also on there. All right. Right now, shipping gets crazy. I have an order out for the Cricut machine for some new materials to make something. They were supposed to be delivered on the 30th. They're not going to get here till the 8th, so things are backed up. So I want to let you know that as a business owner, when you are setting up your inventory system, make sure you turn on those inventory alerts so you can give yourself enough lead time for your supplies to get there. The worst thing you can do is get to low inventory and then realize, oh, it's going to take me 3 weeks to get my next order for shipment. And right now, based on my sales, I'll be out of product in 2 weeks. You kind of want to stay fluid and in flow. I was actually just talking to somebody yesterday about Square, and they were saying like, oh, I love at the end of the month to look at my report because it tells me how much money I've made and what items I sold and how, where I made that money at. And I could see what expenses I had. So if nothing more, it's great reporting. Once again, you don't want a store you can't afford. The whole goal is for you to be making additional money and expanding your services. Do we have any questions over there in the Q&A section or anything in the chat that should cause me to pause?
Yeah, Shamir. So we have a few questions. The first one actually came from Kim Williams, and her question was, is there a software for these policies?
There is not necessarily a software, but on the Padlet, I think I dropped down there, there is a website, and I want to make sure, I think it's called Freeform, and they actually will generate these documents for you. There is a fee per document in some cases. In some cases, the documents are free. Shopify, if you use their platform, will do a return policy generator for you, as well as a privacy policy generator. Cookiebot will help you with your consent. And I dropped all of those links on the Padlet.
Okay, we have the Padlet link actually listed in the chat for all of our participants today. And then we do have another question from Jay Carter. He's asking, if you already have an active site that doesn't meet all the requirements, what should I do? Are there any other precautions I should take, and how soon do these updates need to take place?
If you don't have a cookie consent, it'll take you about a half an hour to at least review what should be in there and go through one of the generators. It's not incredibly hard, but I would tell you to get it done pretty fast. I don't think the government is going around looking for people with them, but you don't want to be a part of that either way it goes. So it's something that, you know, you can take the weekend and put in place. And once again, all of those actual templates or generators or places that actually do that work to generate those policies are available on that Padlet. And I tried to find free versions so that it would be cost effective and you would want to implement one. If you use Weebly, I think they have a built-in one. You just have to go in your settings and turn it on. I think WordPress has an add-on for theirs, and I haven't been on Squarespace in a while, but I guarantee you Squarespace definitely has a place where you can just turn on cookie policies and privacy policies. So some of these things will be built in. You just may have not checked the box lately.
Okay, thank you, Shamira. I think that's all the questions that we have in the chat for right now.
All right. I'm going to keep rolling through. So let's talk about exchanging currencies, because we all want our money. And so we really want to talk about the different online or e-commerce payment options. Next week, I believe, James or Emily could clarify this for me. I'll be doing a session on contactless payments and things about that sort of. So sign up for their newsletter like James requested, and you can stay up to date on all the webinars they'll be offering. Pretty sure it's at 2:30. They'll drop a link in the chat and send an email to let you know what's going on with that. So let's talk about payment options. Well, checks still work. You can still accept a check. And guess what now? Most banks offer mobile deposit by just taking a picture of the check. Because you can't, like most banks, unless it's at the grocery store here in Pittsburgh, are closed or by appointment only. So use your mobile deposit option as much as possible. I love it. Didn't use it prior to this because I always wanted the banking relationships. I really made sure that I went in and met my bankers, but can't do that right now. So that mobile deposit option by just using your camera on your phone with your online banking works like a charm. Still accepts checks. You could still mail me my payment. Bank transfers. Bank transfers are always a win. They are costly though, right? Like they could literally run you like 30 bucks if it's a different from one bank to another bank. But if it's the same bank, it's probably a lot lower fee if there is a fee. Debit cards and credit cards. They have chip card readers now, and then they have the magnetic card reader, right? We all remember how to swipe. And now the chip card reader is the way you plug in, and they'll say, leave it in there, and it'll let you know when it's gone. Those can come in multiple formats. There's not really a standard way to get that done. You'll see the little mobile hand ones people have now. You see the big kiosk ones that are like at a Target or a Giant Eagle, and Square offers the little pocket versions of both of those. Mobile app payments. Mobile app payments are going to be things like Cash App and Venmo. Venmo is mainly for personal things, so Cash App is probably the best decision to make as a business owner. Plus, it already goes with your Square account if you use Square. But if nothing else, you can just set up a private, a Cash App just for your business. Love Cash App because I love that you get a credit card with it or a debit card that goes with it. If you haven't ordered your debit card, order it. Great way to put all of your business expenses in one place. So once again, you know what kind of income you got in, and you know what expenses you're using because you're using one account. Contactless payments. Contactless payments are things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay. You can use them on big kiosks, and then Square definitely offers you the chip reader contactless payment option. It's $49.99. In these times, I'd highly recommend it if people are going to be coming into your store or your facility, or you're going to do drive, curbside, because once again, it has a distance that it can go away from your physical device in order to use it. So you could actually be walking up to people's cars with your chip card reader and contactless payments and take payments right there from their car, which is awesome, right? Pay and scan, messaging payments. Messaging payments are things like PayPal will let you send a text message for your payments. Gmail will let you actually just send payments through through your email, if you haven't seen that in the last 2 years. And then Facebook Messenger lets you send payments. So maybe people who are doing downloadables or courses or registration for like personal membership organizations, if you're not going to register for a full platform, because there are plenty out there, maybe you're doing this to take payments. I know some people who are doing orders by telephone or text messages, and that's one of the options. Scan and pay. Everyone says when I say scan and pay, they're like, what would I scan? Scan a QR code. PayPal has this built right into their mobile app where you can just scan a QR code and make a payment. Voice payment is fairly new, but if you have a voice assistant, you can actually stick your credit card in, credit card information that's already in your Amazon account, or you can use Amazon Pay or Google Pay to make a payment for products that you order over your voice assistant. Yes, you can order directly over voice at this point. And some people have now built in voice dash things. If you're going to do a subscription service, Amazon Pay is the way, because they already have it pre-built for subscription services. And so it kind of has a nice couple of options to it. What people don't know sometimes about Amazon Pay is you can actually take cash to Amazon Pay, and PayPal both let you take cash to stores and then get money uploaded onto your account. So if people say that I only have cash and you really want them to make online payments, those are ways that they can. I know that you can go to Giant Eagle to get money on your Amazon Pay account. And I know you can also go to CVS for PayPal. This seems silly, but it's necessary. Write a refund and a return policy. They're different. A refund policy is basically, what are you going to do to take back your product if you can? I recently broke the leg on my baby doll Zoe, and I wanted to send the product back. I didn't want my money back. I actually just wanted them to repair her, almost like American Girl doll does. And they said to me, well, we can't repair her because that's not what we do, but we might be able to send you another one. But you need to send us the product to see if it was broken because you just misused it, or it was actually just a product defect and it's broken. I took pictures, I sent them the pictures back, and then they were like, well, accept it back, and then they sent me an RMA. So that I can ship it back on them. I didn't have to pay for that shipping. Write a refund policy. What is going to be the policy for you taking back your products? If you will take them back, or if you can take them back. Who's going to be on the hook for the shipping? Me and Emily had a whole conversation like, am I required to ship it back, or are you required to ship it back? I bought some boots one time on eBay. Guess what? Shipping them back cost me more than giving them to my sister. So I gave them to my sister, but she's not allowed to wear them in front of me. So that's for a refund, a return policy, right? A refund is how am I going to give this person their money back, right? They want their money back. And if I paid on PayPal, their money's going to go back to PayPal. And it may take a couple of days. And so I really need to make sure that I outline that information for people. The worst feeling is somebody saying they're going to give you a refund for your money, and it takes them 14 days to give you that refund. And you think that you're going to get a refund immediately because they took your money immediately. Also, some places have a restocking fee. So think about all of those things before you decide on what your return and refund policy will be. Also, once you do it, inform your staff so that you have a good customer service experience for all of the people involved. For our service people or people who are going to hold courses or do online workshops, same thing applies. You need a cancellation policy, okay? What happens when people cancel? What happens when someone says they can no longer make it and they want a refund? Take the time to think about these things before you get them started. And if you don't have them, that's fine. Take the time to put them in place though now if you are going to increase your sales. And I definitely want to make sure that people who do services think about their cancellation process, because I'm looking at getting an online trainer, and my biggest worry is what happens if I decide to cancel. All right, so let's talk about where some of these things happen, right? Mobile money is you can only accept message money through a messenger, right? You can't get that in person. So you got to think about how you'll get your money back out. When you pay for downloads, that money is only those are only e-commerce things. Instagram, you can sell products on Instagram right through their messenger services. Facebook has you can do Facebook Messenger and just send money, but then there's the Facebook Marketplace too, where you can do some sales. You should think about people who are going to be in person, but you want to reduce the amount of contact you're having. So contactless payments are going to win. Contactless payments, if you're not familiar or you've been on the bus, it uses a contactless payment feature, right? You have to tap your Connect card in order to pay to get on the bus. That's a contactless payment. Even big places are getting into the QR codes to scan, right? So this is for a coupon. I do not have my Samsung watch anymore. I let it go. But people who do have Apple watches and Samsung watches and all your fitness buffs, you can make payments right through those watches. So you might want to encourage people, if you're noticing that your customer and clientele has those things, encourage them to use them when they're coming to you as you reopen during these times. A great way to find out if your customer has those is if you already have your insights set up. That's like Facebook Insights, your Google Analytics, or Google Tag Managers set up. They tell you what type of devices people are using in order to visit your website. Use that information to your advantage at this time. If you notice all of your customers are Apple users or Android users, that will help you decide on some things. Like you might be like, I totally want to get Apple Pay. A lot of my customers use Apple products or have an iPhone. Apple Pay is built in. Maximizing your marketing. Okay, you got a store up, you got inventory set in there, you got payments options set up, you are ready to go, except nobody knows you have a store. So just like anything else, you need to market your store. You want to pick a e-commerce system that offers you seamless marketing as much as possible. Square does a great job, like I said. Eventbrite does a great job, right? You can now do it with an additional fee. You can actually integrate Zoom right to Eventbrite, so people could register for your courses or online trainings and pay right there. Great option. It's probably worth the payment fee that you pay in order to make sure that it's seamless and less work for you. PayPal offers tons of integration. I think they have been around for so long. You can make a button for any website with short codes. They, a lot of places already are seamlessly integrated, which it'll just say check a button to accept PayPal. PayPal also offers you a short link directly to your account so that people can pay you directly. And you could actually tell them how much money you want them to pay you on the link, so you can create that. MailChimp is doing some awesome things nowadays. They've done a lot of upgrades. They now offer payment blocks. So whether it's a newsletter or social media, you can actually just connect your Square store to your MailChimp. Talk about seamless integration for talking to your customers. So now you could take all the insights that you have from your store and all the insights you have from engaging your customer and make them a seamless connection. So you can offer referral codes to people who actually are buying those items. So Sally, who only buys items in blue, I'm a Sally. You could say, hey, you got the blues, let me send you 20% off because you got an extra stock of blue things that you just didn't know. And so Sally is your perfect customer. The key to these things are setting them up beforehand so that you know what integrations work together. That's my favorite part of tech, is thinking about how do these things talk to each other in order to make the process as seamless as possible for business owners. You kind of want the tech to do the heavy lifting so you can stay focused on the human-to-human connections that you want to make. Everyone's pet peeve is they can't find how to contact you when something is wrong. Make your contact us information visible. Make sure people can find out how to connect with you online. Make sure they can find out how to call you. Create a template or a form that people can just use a drop-down box and have 5 questions that they have to pick from in order to get in contact with you. If you're big on social media, turn on the chat bot. I'm not a fan of the Facebook chat bot, but turn on the Facebook chatbot messenger so it will let people communicate with you as fast as possible. If you're going to do telephone and you don't really want to give out your real phone number, get a Google Voice account. They're still free. Get one, create a phone number that people can call you on, they can send text messages to, and it's not your personal phone number. Plus, it'll let you create multiple greetings. You can actually filter customers into certain sections. Make contacting you simple. Get help scheduling and curating content. Don't spend all your time trying to curate content so that you can notify people. Make sure that your store is up. Make sure that your store is live. Make sure that it's engaging and exciting. Make sure that you are sharing information about it. Like any other store, any other product, if nobody knows it's there, nobody's going to come back to buy things from it. And get your friends to help out. Get your people in your network to help out. use some platforms to schedule content. I tell people all the time, the first Saturday of the month for me, I sit and make content that's schedulable, always relevant content that would be for my customers. It works. It's easy. It's some ways to set some of those brand things, right? Like if you got a Monday mantra, sit and do Monday mantras for a time period. If you're going to have a sales campaign, or you know you're going to run a campaign, spend time developing the campaign, spend time scheduling some of it, not all of it, just some of it, so that there's always some consistency in that. I want to take the time to appreciate you and see if we have any more questions. Thank you for your time and attention today. So James, do we have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Shamira. We do have one question. Again, it comes from Kim Williams. And I think she was talking about in terms of some of the software you were mentioning, but she was asking what types of the software, and do you have the website to download it from? I think in terms of like the payment options.
Oh, so there are software payment options, and I can add them to the Padlet, but that's like Shopify, Big Cartel, Square, Stripe. You can just build your own online store if you want. I hope that I'm answering her question. I see a couple more answers popped up, or some things popped up in the chat.
She was saying thank you.
Oh, okay.
You're getting a lot of kudos in the chat. You know, people saying thank you. This was amazing. A lot of great, usually information.
So what platform to select? I didn't try to go too deep into that because I want you to think about what you need before you select your platform. But I will drop links for the top 5 platforms that are out there to make sure that you have them. I know that while I was doing additional research for this, I found out that Shopify has a light version that's $9.99, which I know some people can enjoy. I know Square is free to set up the basic account. I set up a Square store 2 weekends ago with a friend. Big Cartel was something that I know a lot of people use. But here's the thing that I like to say, and I'll leave it on this note. If you have an existing website, start there, because there's probably already integrations and add-ons available. For instance, when I set up when I start playing with the Square store, I have a website on Weebly. It automatically linked my email address and start trying to publish it to one of my websites on Weebly. So first ask yourself, where's my website hosted at? Where is it stored at? Who did I design on? And then move backwards from there. Squarespace, they already have built-in store options. It's probably just most cost-effective for you to pay the little add-on. Shopify goes across multiple platforms. Square goes across multiple platforms. Square's the best standalone if you have retail.
We got one more question from Jay Carter. He was asking, where would you place WorldPay in the rankings of the payment systems?
So WorldPay, just a little hot tip, WorldPay is actually a great payment system. My little corner store up the street uses WorldPay. They're the only place I never have any payment problems when I use NFC. Their NFC reader works the best. And so pre-doing this, when Emily and James and I were talking, I mentioned that the reason I keep mentioning scan and pay and contactless things are because in other countries, especially on the continent of Africa, a lot of people use scan and pay as their payment options or contactless payment options. I know MasterCard has a whole MasterCard scan list that I looked up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome for my workshop. except it's only available on the continent of Africa. So you have to be mindful of that. There are a lot of scan and pay QR code readers that are in Europe too. So just be mindful, do your due diligence when you are picking them. If you have international clientele though, pick somebody who's going to get you an international vibe.
Thanks, Shamira. Do you want to give them like a brief description of what the QR code is, as well as the acronym NFC?
Yeah. So a QR code. It's one of these. Whoa. I'm going to turn off my virtual background to be none. All right. So QR code is this little box right up here, right? Let's see. If you have a iPhone, you don't need anything additional. You just have to point your camera at it and it'll take the picture. Well, point your camera at it and take a picture. If you are looking at this right now, you can actually scan that QR code. If you have an Android, depending on which one it is, you may need another app. I'm going to see if I can do this backwards without destroying my cell phone. And no large movements, which didn't happen. I'm sitting on an exercise ball too, so bear with me. If I fall and roll over, just laugh. All right. Once it reads it, it's seeing the dots. I mean, so now it went directly to the website, which happens to be Sesame Street for this one. So that's a QR code. If you have PayPal, when you open up your PayPal app, you'll see it right in the top corner. It'll say scan and pay.
And what is the, sorry about that, Shamira. And what is the NFC?
Oh, so NFC, near field communication. That's what it stands for. It's built right into your phone. Let's see. There we go. Right into the actual settings. If you have an Apple, turn on Apple Pay. If you want to read third-party ones with Apple, you actually have to download an NFC reader. This is one of the is a tag. This is what a tag can look like. I have wearable tags. Tags are easy to make. When you tap it, now it'll go directly to that website, which was the library's website. So there are just different ways to let your mobile device trigger content. So they'll be great for like, hey, you want a sign on your wall at your store that says hours open. You could put a QR code on there or a tap code so that people can just scan, or place orders online. Maybe you put that on the front of your store door, right? To talk about how to get in contact with you. And that way it makes it that the people people can take it with them, right? So if I've just walked past your store and you have that signage there, I can just scan the QR code or tap it and walk away. You will see a lot more tap options for payments coming about on multiple things across multiple platforms. So if you see tap and pay, it's really asking you to near field communication. And like I said, the bus, that's what this is. That's what this system is based on too.
Thank you, Shamir. I think we've answered all the questions in the chat. Like I said, you got a lot of kudos in the chat box as well. People saying that the presentation was informative. They really loved it. They liked it. All thumbs up. At this time, did you want to say something, Shamir?
Thank you for your time. This is actually my favorite thing to do. And people would not think that, but totally love it. Like, hey, I'm going to be done. It's going to be awesome. You can see me again, see me not. Watch it later, share it with a friend. So I want to thank you all for your time and energy this afternoon.
Definitely, Shamir. We thank you. We agree with all your sentiments. I think we're all pushing to transition into better digital citizens, right? So we're kind of learning on the fly. We do want to do another plug for our next webinar, which will be Thursday, May 7th at 2:30 p.m. Our presenter will be Dentons, Cohen, and Grigsby. They will present on the topic of joint venture, and we've been kind of circling around that conversation and teaming up for better opportunities. It'll be a great presentation. I think we'll learn a lot as far as the legal parameters about teaming up with a partner and seeing what the best opportunities are out there in terms of a partnership. We do want to make sure that you sign up for the Diversity Business Resource Center at dbrcpittsburgh.org. And also feel free to check our website at riversidecenterforinnovation.com. We look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Stay healthy and stay safe. Be well.
I'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good.
As a participant.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.